Carleton has been the fortunate, blessed beneficiary of 5 posses right now, all from Chicago. We, therefore, among those colleges that's been blessed with groups of students organized and taught and then brought to us through the Posse Foundation, the Posse program, for a number of years. And I know a fair amount about the program. Indeed, before I came to Carleton, when I was the president of Kenyon College in Ohio, I looked with admiration on the work of Posse. What I chiefly want to say now is what I have said publicly more than once, and that's the following. I've been a professor, I've been in higher education my entire professional life. I was a professor for most of 2 decades at Dartmouth College, and then the president of Kenyon, and now the president of Carleton College. And so I speak with some fair experience about higher education when I say that I think that one of the best ideas in higher education in the last quarter of a century, and perhaps even the best idea in the history of higher education over the last several decades, is the Posse program. All of us at first-rate colleges like Carleton have worked and continue to work on ensuring that our students experience difference. We work on diversity, as it's normally called. I prefer to call it the experience of difference, because if ideas matter to one, then the language that you use to describe them ought to matter, and we need to keep changing and updating that. And I think diversity got rather frozen a while back. We work in the experience of difference in all kinds of ways, giving our students a global experience. Most Carleton people go on off-campus study programs. We work on the experience of difference in ensuring that everybody's fluent in at least one language other than English, and I actually think all of us ought to be working on at least 2 languages other than English. And we work on it in lots of areas, but of course a very important part of the world that our students are going to enter is negotiating, feeling comfortable in, feeling inspired by settings very different from those that they've known growing up, very different than they'd gotten accustomed to, very different than those that they were previously comfortable with. And that's among the reasons why the experience of difference matters to us. And putting that with Posse, the idea of Posse, obvious in retrospect, but not so before. And I used to say that at every course, beginning of every course I taught at Dartmouth College. Students, you should know that all great ideas are obvious in retrospect, and no great idea was obvious in prospect. And that's what's true of Posse. It's wonderful when talented young people are recruited to colleges coming from very different backgrounds from a lot of their fellow students, but when they arrive there and there's no one with a shared experience, there's no one with whom they've thought about and are undergoing the culture shock that all of us feel when we go to college, but that is much more profound for some than others. It's tough to do it alone, and the brilliant idea of Posse was, well, let's not do it alone. Let's send groups of students together to college, and let's work with those students for a good long time before they go off to college, so that they can begin to see some of what will be expected of them, some of the ways in which they can negotiate a world quite different from theirs. New colleges are signing up, as they should, because it's such a great idea, and we could not be happier. We could not be more pleased with what Posse has meant for Carleton College, and I know that's true across the country. So congratulations and thanks to Posse.